The Jags were sitting there at 5-3, and despite a, we'll call it sketchy win against the Raiders where it took overtime for them to beat that team, they still had to be feeling good as the 7th seed and playing a backup quarterback in Davis Mills. Even throughout the game when they were up 29-10, but then disaster struck as they lose that lead and lose that game. And I'm going to be honest, this game might be the one that keeps the Jags out of the playoffs. What is up, Jags fans? Duval and other fans of the NFL. Welcome to the Lumia Sports Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out our channel page. We do videos every day. Haven't missed a day, I believe, in the last month with content from each team in the league. If you check out our YouTube Live, we have predictions for all of our games in each week. As you see, that's me and Tony the Tiger. No, that is not a Jag. That's a Tiger. And if you look over at our playlist, what we have for you guys is every single team every week. And what we do is we do a preview from them and a review. So let's see what we got right now cooking up with the Jags. We asked the question if Trevor Lawrence or Davis Mills was going to win that game. We figured it out. We said that the Jags look shaky, but Coen keeps winning. But we kind of tried to tell you guys they were a little shaky, look a little weird. And so check out some of these other, penalty box is crazy. Check out these other videos. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Please like, subscribe, all that jazz. Helps out the page. Now, back to the episode. And when you look at the Jags, the reason that I said this one might keep them out of the playoffs, yes, right now, they are still the 7th seed in the AFC. Thankfully for that tie, not even thankfully, they went out, they earned it, they beat the Chiefs, so they have a tiebreaker over them at 5-4. But now you have an interesting situation that the Texans are kind of creeping around and back into that race. Whereas if you win this game, you're still a game up on the Chiefs. You have a little bit of cushion, right, and that tiebreaker. And then the Texans would be completely out of it. So to lose that big lead, I mean, you just hope it's not something going forward that it's going to be a thing if you're a Jags fan. But that is a real gut punch of a loss for their chances to make the playoffs. And again, even when you look at some of the other things, like I didn't think they were going to come back and win this division as we look at the division with the Colts. However, if you'd have just been 2 games back, undefeated in the division, you'd still have a very, very good shot to do it, because I don't believe, they haven't played the Colts yet. Colts actually 2 division games have only been the Titans. That's kind of crazy. But you still, and I don't think they would sweep the Colts, but you still would give yourself that opportunity. Instead, now you're a little bit further behind. You're 3 wins back, 2 losses back, so let's call it 2.5. And you have a division loss where they don't have one yet. So you're kind of, you know what I mean, banking on still either trying to sweep them and then hoping that they lose some other games now, whereas you would have kind of had your destiny in your hands. And other than this week, let's see how the Jags got to this point. Because new coach, new coordinator, new coach, new GM, maybe we didn't expect them to be in the spot. They went out there. They did beat the Panthers week 1. Solid win, 26-10, specifically in the first week. They lost to the Bengals. That loss was, I think, the second toughest loss so far for them in the season. That game, Burrow gets hurt. Jake Browning comes in and starts cooking you up. That can't happen. He also threw 3 picks in the game. If you guys don't remember, that was also a game where you have Trev and Coen yelling at each other on the sideline. Liam put it on it. Brian Thomas dropping passes, whole lot of dysfunction there. The Texans game, they went out, they beat them, came back, huge defensive performance in that one. San Francisco in that win, I'm trying to remember what happened in that game. Oh, they came up, I think they had a bunch of turnovers. Yeah, Brock Purdy came back, turned the ball over. Trevor Lawrence didn't, and that's why they ended up winning that game. Against the Seahawks, tough loss. A lot of penalties in that game, but 20-12 to the Seahawks, not really anything to be ashamed of. Now, losing 35-7 to the Rams, that one hurt. That kind of showed maybe that you're not as good as you want to be. And coming off of the bye week, I mean, yeah, beat the Raiders, thankfully. I mean, a loss there would be tough, so I can't call it quite a loss, but beating them in overtime, not great. Specifically because, and we'll get to it more in the comments, also talk about this, but just, again, not great. The Raiders aren't that good. Now, the Raiders did almost beat the Broncos, but at least that's a divisional game, so that wasn't a great sign. And then you go out, you have a huge lead on the Texans with a backup quarterback, 29-10, late in the third quarter. You lose that lead. Just can't happen. But it happened to the Jags in this game. And now going forward, next up you get the Chargers. That's a big game, right, for wild card consideration, everything like that. And if you lose to a tough team, now you very well could be, depending on what happens with the Chiefs, Broncos, or even the Texans-Titans game, on the outside looking in when we start Week 12. But then Week 12, Cardinals, Titans, Jets. You get the Titans twice. You get the Jets. You got to split with the Colts to me. Denver, you got to split this Charger-Broncos thing. You can do that, right? Handle the Titans, handle the Jets, split with the Colts somehow, split with the Chargers, Denver situation. What would that put you at? That'd put you at 6 losses and a tiebreaker over the Chiefs. I mean, hey, look, that gives you definitely a shot for sure to make the playoffs. And that 11-6 probably gets you in, looking at what we're looking at right now. Now, do I think the Jags are going to do that? I can't say that I do. They've been very inconsistent so far this season. But they can. They still have a chance. But, yeah, losing that game to the Texans definitely put their backs a little bit closer up against the wall than you'd like. And in our new segment, what I call my favorite segment, Comment of the Week, we go over your comments and we scour our comment section on our last preview and review with each team. And Duval, shout out you guys. You guys stepped up. We got 3 comments. We're reading them all out for Comment of the Week. First one, may say 91. Bro, I'm a all caps, die hard Jags fan, and I couldn't have said your opening statement any better. Well, thank you. I try my best. Trevor is guaranteed at least one bonehead throw per game, but somehow we've managed to be 5-3. Unfortunately, now you sit here at 5-4, and Trevor, yeah, he just does dumb stuff every game. He's just one of those guys that looks a little goofy out there, and he just looks like he doesn't always understand time, score, what we need to do, and what needs to happen right now. And that's one of his flaws. And he is going to make some dumb plays out there, unfortunately, for the Jags. The Jags are – oh, I'm sorry. This is from Jeremy Swan, 3570. The Jags are very banged up right now. They just keep finding a way to win, though. They are a very injured team. When you look at the roster, banged up. But a lot of teams are banged up at this point. Specifically, the problem is you just came off of a bye when we were having that conversation in the comments against the Raiders. So that was as healthy as you're going to get conceivably for the end of the season. And it's Ryan Nelson. Love the analysis. I got you. Defensively, though, you said it. You didn't expect that game out of Geno because he didn't have a healthy Brock. That dude is a life changer on offense. Talking about Brock, not Geno. Add to that how many defensive starters we had out, a bunch, and it made sense to me. Going across the country and getting a win is traditionally something that doesn't happen for the Jags, so we'll take it by 1 point in overtime all day. He actually threw up that emoji. I respect that. The Jags are the Jags, right? And Jags fans have to keep this. This is still a first-year coach. You know what I mean? Keep that perspective. And so even with that win, we're not going to relitigate that. I'm not going to disagree with that opinion. You needed that win. And this one, it just sucks. And I think before, because I like to delve into the, you know what I mean, specifically what happened in the game. But I think even bigger than that, it's like Liam Coen has done a good job of kind of almost changing. I mean, they have a clutch win against the Chiefs, they've been getting out some of these clubs earlier against the Texans. That's a game, week 3, that they normally lose. And you're like, all right, Jags, like, do we have something here? And sure, you lose to the Rams, but, tough losses happen. But this one, when I look at Coen's reaction after the game, I think right after the pick, he just like looked away, threw something. And I don't blame him. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a frustrating guy. Now, this wasn't all on Trevor Lawrence, and we'll get into all the details, but he definitely had a part to do with it. And in reality, now I feel bad because most of my notes that I wrote were just about the comeback. But let me go back because I have deeper files. But Trev wasn't the reason they were even up 29-10. I remember the numbers. He had 155 passing yards, 1 touchdown. They got a pick on the first drive, and Trevor almost throws it right back. I forgot that happened. Right now, again, it's not all Trev. Like Liam Coen, most penalties in the league, not a surprise. He did have a good throw to Parker Washington. Parker Washington made a play. But, I mean, Trevor came out there, fumbled the ball. Yikes. Not great. And again, one of their touchdowns was a punt return from Parker Washington. And then it was just a bunch of field goals. And Trevor threw a pick as well. And that was a great pick. I remember that. Right before half, Stingley reached out, grabbed it with one hand. But even throughout the game earlier, Trevor wasn't the reason you're up. He gets a ridiculous amount of passes bad at the line. I'm starting to wonder, because I see him and Herbert get a lot of passes batted down for 2 of the taller guys in the league. That's interesting. I wonder if it's because they're actually kind of trying to throw sometimes at a down angle and not like an up angle. They can't get around that. But, I mean, that's supposed to be your advantage of being tall, being 6'6" out there. One of them is supposed to be, okay, you can see over the line, and that ball doesn't get batted down at the line of scrimmage. Yikes. Not been happening so far for Trev. He had a bunch of passes batted down. Now, again, his defense is a little different. But I just wanted to mention that about Trev, and we'll dive into more of the complete collapse. But just from the beginning part of this game, it was the defense flying. It was special teams helping him out. They were making every field goal. I think Cam Little hit it, not quite as deep, but he hit one from 55. The running game was kind of working, but then the Texans kind of figured that one out and slowed that down. And then they made Trevor throw the ball late, and we'll get into it. But the other thing, too, you can't say that the defense didn't help blow the lead. And I think 29-10, every time, I think it's Wegan. He has a chance to end the game with a huge interception on 3rd and 2. Davis Mills throws it right to him. You pick that off 29-10, they're not coming back, I guarantee you. There's just not enough time in the game for them to do it. Instead, you drop it, and next thing you know, 4th and 2, they complete it. They get a touchdown. Nico Collins catches a one-handed 2-point conversion. Now it's 29-18. You're in a dogfight, and it's a game again. And that defense, got to be honest, the Texans' defense is the best unit in the NFL. Yes, right? But, I mean, going out there, and again, started off with a 4-yard run backwards, not the good way, the bad way, because Danielle Hunter, this is a Madden joke, so for those who don't play Madden has something called an X Factor, and his X Factor lit up. So basically, when you have an X Factor, there's like an emblem under your player, and it's like streaming red, and that means this guy can do all these special things. That was Hunter the entire 3rd and 4th quarter. Understandable. Next play, sack. I get it. But having a 3-and-out right there, then, because it was on both sides, right? But having a 3-and-out right there, crucial. Next drive, Texans. Go down. Suddenly, everything's open. Nico open. Schultz open. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, in the span of like 12 minutes of game time, it's gone from 20-10 to now 7 minutes left, 29-24, and the Jags had to be looking like, what? Sorry, Mom. Mom told me not to cuss, but it's what the hell? I'll be nice. Just happened there? Like, what just happened to our whole team? Their defense has been banged up. I get that, and I'm not blaming the defense offensively, you got to be able to put something together. You still have a 5-point lead, and Tootin, their backup running back, great player, gets a return to the 45-yard line. Doesn't matter. 2 plays later, 3rd and 4, there's a spy sitting right in front of Trevor Lawrence's face. Almost gets picked off if I remember correctly, but I just marked it down as batted down. Throws it right at him, doesn't see him, right down the middle, incomplete. Drive over, and now the Texans, it's first off, it's the second 3-and-out that they had during that stretch, and it wouldn't be the last. They would end up with 3, or maybe even a little worse. We'll get into the details. Now the defense has been out there. They're exhausted. They're getting run on, and this is how you know that they are a little banged up defensively. Let me actually look at the injuries, because I'm saying that, and I'm not giving you guys specific names, and I feel like a fraud. So let me look up that. But yeah, they started just running the ball. A team that can't really run the ball against well, they're 18th now, so I can't say they can't really run the ball, but it's definitely not their strength. And they were just able to control that game down the stretch, running the football, got 2-minute warning, and then Davis Mills toting it in from 14 yards out. Christian Jones, I think that's his name, had a tough penalty, but he actually caught one of the interceptions earlier in the game. Well, the only interception that Davis Mills threw early in the game. He was actually playing a great game. They blitzed him. He got a sack as well. Let me make sure I'm saying his name right. There's a lot of things we got to double check here. But obviously the most jarring thing, end of the game, Hunter wakes up again, sack. You know what I mean? With like 30 seconds left. And then Will Anderson hits some sack, forced fumble, and that ended up being the game. So let's do the, what's it called? Jerrion Jones. My bad, Jerrion Jones. Jerrion Jones had that pick, and a big sack as well. I believe they sent him on a blitz, and he got home. Nope. Guess that's Antonio Johnson I'm thinking of. I thought they sent him off, and maybe he got a tackle for loss. I don't remember. But he was making, he had 2 tackle for losses. So, yeah, he was making some plays in the backfield. That's kind of crazy, picking 2 tackles for losses. And let's look at these Jags injury. Is Olaside out? Yeah, let's see. Because believe me, I'm definitely very, very interested, because it did get mentioned, and injuries do happen. But for the Jags, their defense was leading their team. But as we're looking that up, I personally, that's just a loss that can't happen, man. And that loss, I know they didn't have Brian Thomas. Travis Hunter on the IR, yikes. Jordan Lewis hurt. But the linebackers were there. That's what I wanted to know. If Lloyd and Olakon were there. They were there. Your D-line is fine. You're missing some corners. I wouldn't consider this a completely banged up unit. I just got to be honest with you guys. You still have Wingard, unless Eric Murray was a starter. I know, you lost your nickel corner. I understand that. I don't know, man. I'm just saying. Yeah, this guy was definitely your safety. Murray, he at least played some games, so he's on the IR. Travis Hunter, he's out. But, that's why you go out, you get Jacoby Myers. I don't know. It's going to be tough for the Jags to, I believe, recover from that. I think they can, but that is one that you really let just ultimately slip away, that you have to win. It would have given you a beautiful cushion. And now you're going up against the Chargers, who, even though there is no Joe Alt, they didn't look great against the Steelers. Trevor Lawrence has a good history against the Chargers. I don't know. I just feel like the vibes after that game can't be good at all. So we'll see. But the Jags have got to fix some things. Offensively, they just need to be better. Trevor Lawrence was 13 for 23 out there. And A lot of quarterbacks kind of struggled this week. I think a lot of it is because it was the first kind of cold front we saw in the league. The problem with that is Trevor Lawrence was in a dome. Now, he was playing the number 1 defense in the league, who, on the road and on that grass is probably flying even a little bit faster. I mean, you saw what Hunter was able to do. He was sacked 5 times. That offensive line has struggled this year, penalties, but no one wants to hear that. Trevor Lawrence has been in the league too long, and now at this point, the new regime, I think that Coen and them have a good thing going. And I believe that Lawrence is going to be a factor that can hold them back. And I think he is holding them back right now. He actually fumbled it twice. I didn't even know. He lost the one fumble. I guess that was a Will Anderson one. I guess they recovered the other one, but he did fumble the ball. Anton Harrison scooped it for them. So he had 2 fumbles, only lost 1, a pick. He had under 200 total yards, threw for under 160. He's 13 of 23, like just not going to get the job done. And I think time is ticking on the Trevor Lawrence regime at quarterback. We shall see. But this game definitely didn't go to that case. You cannot lose 29-10 leads to backup quarterbacks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch some of the other videos on the site. I've created a playlist with each and every football team, and every week we will be going over those games. I'm really loving this, enjoying it, and hoping you guys are as well. Of course, like, subscribe, and if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for Lumia Sports Productions is looking for sponsors. Shout us out. We will shout you out during the video. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy.